Vision series first. They're just calling it the Vision series. It used to be called Vision Quest, but that's not the official title anymore. Releasing it in 2026 at some point. They didn't say if it's going to be before Avengers 5 Doomsday or after, but I'm going to guess that it'll be after. So I don't know if that means that it's going to be set on Battleworld or how they're going to handle that. I talked about that in my previous video because it sounds like Spider-Man 4 will also release between Avengers movies. There's a couple ways that Marvel can deal with that on a story level where like TV series and movies releasing between those two Avengers films have to contend with the idea that everybody's on Battleworld and there is no multiverse anymore. And one of the ways is that they don't address it except in like a post-credit scene. Like literally just completely swerving on the problem. So you have to imagine that when the White Vision series picks up in episode 1, they'll just do their own story, then maybe in like a post-credit scene they'll tie it to what's happening in the Avengers movies, because Vision will come back in Avengers 5 and in Avengers 6 Secret Wars. They've changed what it was originally going to be about. It was announced a couple years ago. You might remember they announced a whole bunch of WandaVision spin-offs, but in the new announcement where they said that James Spader is coming back as the character, they're still calling it the third part in a WandaVision trilogy, with Agatha all along being part 2. I assume that means that they're not counting Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness as part of that. Otherwise, it'd be part 4 of a 4-part story. But originally, the series was meant to be more of the Tom King Vision story from that Vision comic book, which they kind of borrowed a little bit from for WandaVision already. And they were going to use it to introduce a couple of characters. I think the adult version of Tommy was also going to come back during that too, because we have the adult version of Billy coming back on the Agatha series. So it makes sense that Scarlet Witch's other child comes back during the other WandaVision spin-off. But a couple years ago, Marvel had their big come to Jesus moment. They completely changed the way they're releasing stuff, make all the Deadpool Marvel Jesus jokes that you want.
Welcome to the MCU, by the way. You're joining at a bit of a low point.
They've since completely changed their strategy for how they're treating all the Marvel stuff on Disney+. I'll explain that later in the video. But as part of all those changes a couple years ago, Kevin Feige hired a brand new showrunner for the White Vision series. They haven't given it an official title yet, so now we're just calling it the Vision series. But the new showrunner you might recognize is Terry McCallis from Star Trek Picard Season 3. Absolute banger of a season of television. You can skip the first 2 seasons of Picard. Just watch Season 3. It's sort of like the Next Generation's true finale. Kevin Feige said that that was the reason specifically that he was hired, because he watched Picard Season 3, and apparently Kevin Feige is a huge Next Generation fan and thought it was an absolute banger of the season. So he's like, please come work for us, run this show. If you haven't seen it, it actually is really good. So I do think this bodes well for the Vision series. Like, he is a really good showrunner. So I do think he can actually do a good job with the characters. But it's meant to pick up a little while after White Vision took off at the end of WandaVision to just stew in his memories and his feelings that he'd recently gotten back from Hex Vision. If it wasn't clear, White Vision is basically the original Vision who died during Avengers Infinity War. After the final battle in Avengers Endgame, his body was recovered by a sword because it was worth billions of dollars, like it's full of vibranium already by itself. Even without the underlying technology behind Vision inside his body, he would be priceless. They tried to reactivate him and use him as the ultimate weapon. Tyler Hayward learned they couldn't do it without Scarlet Witch's chaos magic power. So everything he did during the first half of that WandaVision series was in service of gaslighting her to cause her to use her chaos magic so that they could siphon some of it off and reactivate Vision. When they did that, they blocked all of his former memories and emotions, so that's why he came back white. Also, he didn't have the Mind Stone, and that was such a huge part of his consciousness that he basically came back as this mindless robot. When they sent him into the Hex to kill Scarlet Witch in order to bring down the Hex, because they didn't need her anymore, like they got what they needed out of her, inside the Hex Vision that Scarlet Witch created whole cloth using her chaos magic had all of Vision's former memories up to the point that he died, and basically transferred those back to the original White Vision. Sort of like a backup hard drive USB copy and paste situation, so it should always be a reminder to back up your data. The reason why it's such a big deal that James Spader is coming back as Ultron, if you didn't realize, James Spader has not done any new Ultron stuff since Avengers Age of Ultron. Anytime you've heard Ultron in any of the trailers, it's really them just like taking clips out of Avengers Age of Ultron and putting them in other contexts. he's never recorded any brand new Ultron stuff. Anytime you've heard brand new Ultron stuff, it's actually been Ross Marquand who took over after Avengers Age of Ultron. Most notably for What If Season 1, because there was a lot of Ultron during that, and the live-action Avengers event. You can kind of tell the difference between their voices if you listen closely. This is James Spader's Ultron, then this is what Ross Marquand's Ultron looks like.
I turned to and drop this rock on the way and it's still billions dead. So many universes. Chaos.
Some of you also might recognize Ross Marquand as the voice of Red Skull. He did Red Skull during Infinity War and Endgame. It wasn't Hugo Weaving coming back. He was actually kind of salty about that. And Ross Marquand also does Professor X on X-Men 97. So Ross Marquand is all over the Marvel Universe. He does a lot of voiceover. He's also on the Invincible series as the Immortal too. If you've been watching my channel for a long time too, I used to do Walking Dead videos every week. You probably remember him as Aaron from Walking Dead. But it's a huge deal that they're finally going back to the original and James Spader to come back for authentic Ultron in live action again. I think it's because they're treating it as a much bigger deal. I can go back to the source. But the big reason they're bringing Ultron back during the Vision series is because it's a huge part of his origin story and he's reckoning with his past. Like he's just got all his memories back and trying to reckon with everything that's happened to him. You remember that Vision is the baby of Jarvis and Ultron. Paul Bettany, who plays Vision, originally started out just doing the voice for Jarvis' AI in the first Iron Man movie. So the whole idea with this new Vision series of Ultron is they want James Spader to record brand new Ultron scenes that we haven't seen before. What that means is we'll probably see a couple different versions of Ultron show up. Like we'll see Vision remembering him having interactions with Ultron during that Age of Ultron with scenes that we didn't see on screen, like new stuff but from the past. Vision remembering Ultron, then in present day Ultron's code reactivating and him actually coming back, like brand new present day Ultron stuff. If it wasn't clear, Ultron was not killed during Avengers Age of Ultron. His code just went dormant. His code has basically been stored dormant inside the parts of stuff ever since Avengers Age of Ultron. So during Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, there's like a stick with Ultron's code on it just chewing in one of his lockers. Don't you wonder what happened to all those other AIs that Tony Stark had? What's also probably do is yoink some of the plot from the Armor Wars movie that they had originally intended on doing for Ultron. Originally, he was supposed to return during Armor Wars for the first time, like it would have been his grand return to the actual live-action movie he chose. But Armor Wars was going to be a completely different type of story, completely different beast. That would have been an adaptation of the original comic book Armor Wars, but with Rhodey being the main character instead of Iron Man. Remember, he had just come back after Secret Invasion. The idea is that Iron Man's technology got into the hands of a bunch of really shady people all over the globe, kind of like it does during the original comic book Armor Wars, and Rhodey would have had to deal with that. The actual main villain of the series, just like in the comic book, would have wound up being the government, but in the case of the Armor Wars movie, it would have been Damage Control, because they are a department of the government now. In the original comic book, the government basically creates its own giant armor that Iron Man has to destroy. So in the movie, it would have been Rhodey having to destroy some giant creation that Damage Control accidentally creates, and through that, Ultron's code would have reasserted itself, and that's how he would have come back. Like Damage Control and Val would have accidentally led to the return of Ultron. Now it sounds like the first place to come back is this Vision series, and he resurfaces from inside Vision. Like there's pieces of Ultron's code buried inside Vision's programming, which I think makes a little more sense. Like there's still pieces of him that make up what Vision is essentially. It makes sense that Ultron would be able to resurface inside Vision somehow. After Marvel's brand new Disney Plus strategy, what they used to do and what was not working during Marvel Phase 4 was the idea that they were introducing a lot of characters and concepts on Disney Plus and expecting those to drive people into movie theaters. The problem with that is that a lot of casual fans treated that like homework, and they felt like they had to do all this homework in order to understand what was happening in the movie, and it wasn't really driving people into theaters. So what they're doing now, like their new strategy, is to make movies to drive people directly to Disney Plus. So like they introduce really big concepts and characters, get people excited about them in the movies first, then they get people really excited to have them in their own stories on Disney Plus. Kind of like they did with WandaVision initially, like Comic Book and Vision, really big movie characters, like Avengers characters, that people got excited to see their continuing stories on Disney Plus. So generally when it comes to Disney Plus stuff in like the next several years, I would expect to see more of that kind of energy from the series they're doing. There are a couple exceptions to that. Daredevil, for instance, started out as a TV show. It is continuing as a banger of the series. But really with the characters, they're not doing a lot of what they did with like the Echo series, for instance. All one-off character that they introduced in the TV series that already wasn't that big of a character on that TV series to begin with. Where it makes sense. Comments. What do you want them to do with Ultron after the Vision series going forward in the MCU if he sticks around? And it sounds like he will stick around in some form. Speaking of all the big Marvel trailers they've been dropping recently, I do know the big Marvel
So it's no secret that the MCU is going down the toilet. The effects are bad, and the writing redefines rock bottom with each new...
Hundred 100% Plants vs. Zombies, I'll need to beat the full adventure mode, get all 21 achievements, finish all 20 minigames, 18 puzzles, 10 survival modes, make it all the way to wave 20 of Survival Endless, scrounge up 237,000 coins so that we can grow this stupid tree to 100 feet tall, and hardest of all, figure out how the heck Bagul Twist works. But before we do all that, we gotta get through adventure mode. If you've never played Plants vs. Zombies before, well, let's be honest, you have. If you don't remember the intense lore behind the game, let me break it down for you. Basically, there are zombies, and our plants don't like them very much. Right now, the only plant we can use is the always reliable pea shooter. Click some of the falling sun orbs from the sky, put down an army of little freaks, and slaughter the countless brain-dead lifeless monsters that post on LinkedIn. I mean, that are approaching our lawn. Defeating them, we're gifted a treat sweeter than even the finest nectar. Oh my god, fancy seeing you here, baby cakes. Oh, daddy like you. Going straight to jail, man. On level 1-2, I decided on a goal for this playthrough. You see, when I 100%ed Plants vs. Zombies 2, a lot of people were upset with my plant placement. Mostly citing the fact that 1, I don't use symmetry, and 2, I don't place my sunflowers in the back. While there are a ton of valid reasons why I do these things, I've decided to acquiesce to the overwhelming amount of comments I got. Just kidding! Bask in the disgusting glory of my non-symmetrical build. Your rage only serves to fuel me. For completing the level, we're given the always constant, able to take down the wave at the end very easily. After that, it looks like the landscaping guys finally headed over, as we now have 5 full lanes, which makes me question what kind of lawn care business is running in the zombie apocalypse. Irregardless, for this level, when the first zombie comes trotting down, I place our newly acquired walnut to stall him out. While the zombie is forced to swallow down pounds upon pounds of my nut, I fill out the lawn with as many sunflowers as I can. This gives me the sun to overwhelm the screen with pea shooters and eventually finish up. Well, as a reward, we're given a shovel and be one of the few characters who could take on Superman, Crazy Dave. He shows us how we can use the shovel to upkeep plants on our lawn, and then introduces us to our first minigame, Walnut Bowling. Instead of planting, we now roll the walnuts down the lane, watching as they bounce from zombie to zombie. This level is also the site of the first level where we got an ulterior motive. There's an achievement in this game for having a single walnut bounce off of 5 zombies. I try to let the zombies get as far as possible on the lawn, giving them the greatest chance to hit 5 times. For most of the level, I am unsuccessful, but at the end... 3... Oh, come on! Oh, that was 5! What the heck is my achievement? However, for some reason, despite clearly hitting 5, there's no achievement in sight for me. On the bright side, completing this level gives me one of the best plants in the game, the Spud Mine. Spud Mine instant kills a single zombie, so it's a great way to buy yourself time while readying your defense. It also gives us our very first achievement for blowing the poor zombie to smithereens. I realized that if I just use Spud Mine and Walnut on the bottom lane, I don't need to waste sun on pea shooters down there, so I continue placing them down for my extremely optimal build. Beating the level, we receive no pea, and it's on to level 7. Here, I decided to bang out the Sunny Day achievement for earning 8,000 sun in a single level. To achieve this, I play through the level like normal until reaching the final wave. Here I kill all but one lone zombie. This zombie shall unfortunately not be given the sweet embrace of death like his brethren. Instead, he is forced to externally chew through nut after nut after nut. While our little Sisyphus attempts to reach that forsaken lawnmower, I plant sunflowers on every single time. After a few minutes, we reach 8,000 sun, get the achievement, and can put the zombie suffering to rest. So long, you poor, tortured soul. This drops a sleeper hit of the PVZ catalog, the Chomper. And while the Chomper has been ostracized by nearly everyone in the Plants vs. Zombies community, say hello to the #1 Chomper defender. Yeah, go ahead, boo me, I don't care. You see, Chomper instant kills a single zombie, but the downside of maybe 40 seconds to chew. People often complain that this is way too long of a chew time, making the plant not at all worth it. It's such a foolish criticism. You see, the strength of the Chomper lies in the fact that it's the only instant kill with a fast recharge time. Who cares if the Chomper only kills one plant? Just throw down another. Other instant kills like the cherry bomb take a full 60 seconds to recharge. The Chomper, though, just 8. Think of it as very similar to one of the best plants in PVZ, the magnet. As if you have a lot of sun, you should be able to use this all the time. You get a single thing from this 100% run, is that you need to fast. With the excellence of our Chomper lad, we're able to head down to the ultimate level of the first world. Here we get the repeater who, yeah, okay, he's actually the game shredded zombies with his double key power. Then it was on to World 1's final level. Instead of planting your own plants here, you're randomly sent some down with a bear bug. Now, I've always hated these levels. They're just so boring, and it's just like random plants appearing on your screen with no strategy really whatsoever. But apparently people love them? What? Why? Are you people not able to understand simple strategy? Beat the level and are rewarded with every single great game. And on to World 2, where the zombies just stay up said, the sun no longer falls from the sky here, so we need to be extra careful. Luckily, that's no longer a problem because we've got and dear God, this game is so good. It's a free offensive plant with a fast recharge time. Meaning on most levels, you don't even need to plant anything else. You can just infect your entire lawn with this level is also where we're introducing the concept of money. Here's the question, how we lost the power. We're gonna need to pick up all the money we see because we need around $300,000 to do that. It's time to pick up this time. And I don't know if it's just me, but I always hated this guy. It's the sole reason that he messes up his sun value. Everything else in the game is worth multiples of 25. So when these cheeky little jerks drop a 15 sun ore, the sun just is not around to go for the rest of the level. Oh my God, I finished the level easily, but the 2-3 was shaken to me. No conflict among us. We beat a nighttime level without putting any muscle. The biggest problem with attempting this is, of course, the lack of sun. The key is to place your potato mines or you're going to be relying on a good chunk of the level. Think you want to place the recharge time is precious. In reality, but sacrificing that 25 sun should have gone to a sunflower. Since they produce sun on a timer, the whole thing is so low and very low. Place your potato mines or greenhouse with on your ride, you should be able to do it. I end up having to sacrifice the lawnmower, but I do eventually get 10 whole sunflowers up, which lets me put 2 geos on the then I can do zombies among them. Dave offered such a sweet spot, which I have just enough space for. This gives me space to bring graves up. So I can use them as graves at a time. The fact that I can't plant on them doesn't really bother me, but they each give us clones that are destroyed, and as Elon Musk once said, to have money is better than to not. It's time for level 2, whack the zombie. Here, your mouse is the hammer, and you must, well, whack the zombie. If you need me to explain any more than that, your skull might be filled with that I got this tricky. Not stupid or kidding, but at the end of the day, now, Scary Shroom, I have a bit of a storied history. See, I put out a short the other day that started like this. Scary Shroom is widely considered to be one of the worst safe to say, people did not respond well to this, with pretty much every single comment telling me that Scary Shroom is actually an amazing plant. Like, out of every video I've ever put out on my channel, this is probably still the one that gets the most hateful comments to this day. So I decided to put my money where my mouth is and try out Scaredy Shroom to test to see if it's truly as bad as I said. If you're not familiar, Scaredy Shroom is basically a pea shooter, but it only costs 25 sun and gets scared when zombies get near. And after using him for 3 levels straight, what's my conclusion? Dude, what was I talking about? Scaredy Shroom is like really good. I seriously have no idea why I said that he wasn't. I mean, he's not as good as Puff Shroom, but the absurdly low cost means you can just spend spam them throughout your entire build, and since the game is pretty easy, he gets the job done. And so, I must apologize to the Plants vs. Zombies community, but I still stand by my hate for celery stalker. After 3 levels of being carried by the timid little fungus, we get the privilege of doing another boring auto-scroller level, and it was on to World 3. Bored at the front entrance, the zombies decide to try out the back door. It is taking everything in my power to not make a joke here. Your backyard has an Olympic-level pool for whatever reason, so the zombies can use their little floaties to attack you on the water lanes as well. Before we start the level, though, I knock out another easy achievement by typing mustache into my keyboard, giving all the zombies Markiplier mustaches, and me an achievement. To planes on the water, you'll need your trusty lily pad. They
Hold
really
up.
send that many
What did you
mustaches.
say?
Another easy achievement by typing mustache into my keyboard, giving all the zombies Markiplier
Typing
mustaches, and me
mustache.
an achievement. To planes on the water, you'll need your trusty lily pad. They never really send that many zombies out in the pool lanes, so generally just 1 or 2 plants are good enough to defend the entire lane. As a reward, we're given Squash, an insanely good plant. Having acquired over
No way.
$5,000 from that, Crazy Game gives us an 8th seed slot, which I happily accept. In 3-2, we start using our Squash, and it is a godsend. Basically like having another spud mill, meaning it can take even longer to get your sunflow going. Not to mention, it also works in the water. Midway through the level, I kill a zombie, which unlocks a minigame. After beating the level with some repeaters, I decide to go check them out. The first one is Zombot. Here, all the regular zombies have had their heads swapped out for plant ones, mainly a bunch of pea shooters. The pea shooter heads are pretty annoying because they can shoot all the way down your lane and luckily, by this point in the game, we have a ton of instant kills like Squash, Bud, Cherry Mine, and Chomper. We can use those to get early kills on the Plant Abomination. Once the zombie numbers get larger, I place down a 3, which if you don't know, is just a pea shooter that shoots in 3 lanes at once. All the pea shooter zombies have the health of a regular zombie, so you can handle all top 3 lanes by himself. For the bottom 2 lanes, I just continue using insta-kills, as it's pretty expensive to protect 2 lanes at once. During the waves, they end up sending walnut zombies, which are just really bulky zombies. They're not bulky enough to withstand my cherry bomb. It's important to note that each minigame gives you a diamond, which is important when money is so scarce right now. The second minigame is a harder version of Walnut Boulder. I once again and do my same strategy of waiting until the zombies get all the way down the lane to try and hit 5 at once, but once again, I'm unsuccessful. Then it's time to move on to the last minigame for right now, Slot Machine. Here, you can use 25 suns to spin the slots, and depending on what it lands on, you get different rewards, like pea shooters, sunflowers, or even the sun itself. At first, you need to rely on the machine for all your time, but after a while, you end up getting sunflowers that you can just let them produce for you to get the 2,000 suns you need. Despite knowing that, I just keep spinning, and spinning, and spinning, and spinning. I'm not even looking at my lawn anymore, just gazing into the abyss of the slot, waiting for the colors to light up. You know, 99% of gamblers quit before hitting it big. It's time to get out of there before I fall down this slippery slope and end up broke, or even worse, back to adventure mode. It's time to tackle another achievement. This one can be earned by beating a daytime pool level without using any pea shooters. Since pea shooters are really the only consistently damaging plants we have, this is a bit of a struggle. Start off the level by spamming pumpkins. Despite them being asleep, they work great as a free way to stall the incoming zombie. Then for my main damage, I go for a full chomper build. Since chomper reloads so fast, the key is just to have a ton of sun production so you can place down as many as possible. 3 lanes of sunflowers make this a pin, and now we've achieved what my baby nephew never has: don't pee in the pool. After another rather uneventful level, we've unlocked Crazy Dave's shop. But for now, there's nothing we really want to buy, so we close the trunk and we're on to this world called free. This one is a conveyor belt level with zombies that are the average size. It's honestly huge considering the world. Never put a single pea shooter on these top 2 lanes. And hubba hubba. I've already lost my mind. The rest of the pool levels are pretty uneventful, but I do try to do different builds each level, like 3-peat or repeater plus orchid, or 3-peater plus torch. Okay, I guess they actually weren't that good. On one level, I did try Snowpea plus Spikeweed, with the intent being that Snowpea slows down the zombies so that I can place Spikeweed underneath them, and they'll be slowed so they take more damage than the spike. However, this level made me realize Spikeweed is absolutely terrible. Like, seriously, it does almost no damage, and there needs to be 5 in a lane to kill even just a single zombie. But with that done, it's on to World 4, the nighttime pool level. In this world, we have to deal with fog blocking the rain half the screen. Because we can't see the zombies are spawning, we have no idea which lanes we need to sword and which we don't. However, this can be easily circumvented by spamming puff shrooms on every single lane. It's no wonder they nerfed these guys in Plants vs. Zombies 2. Here we get the planter. By placing down the planter, we can finally see through the fog, with the trade-off of now having to protect this completely defenseless plant. Usually you'd need to use a defensive plant like walnut or tallnut for this, but if we just spam puff shrooms in front of it, no zombie can even get close to trees, not to show off the loot, and how their balloons can be cactus. Cactus is basically the worst plant in this game, as it's just a more expensive pea shooter who's already pretty good. I actually set out with the specific intent of using the cactus itself to show it off, but it's so bad, it planted one earlier, but they're basically just like a really big turn. As a reward for clearing this level, we're given close. You never have to think about cactus. What we're close to and top, which is literally just combining the last two plants we got. I think a big reason that the fog levels are generally regarded as the worst world is because all of the plants are, first of all, bad, and second of all, only serve to deal with one niche. Zombie, lantern, blover, cactus, split pea, magnet they're all a little too niche. Despite that, Act 4-5 introduces probably my favorite mid-act minigame, Vase Breaker. For those who aren't familiar, you break open the vases and they either have zombies or plants inside, and you need to act quickly to try and kill off all the zombies. For some reason, these levels, they give you like an absurd amount of insta-kills, meaning you don't even really need to place anything else and we can just rush on through. For the next level, I decided to make my first PVZ shop in the Gloom Shroom. Gloom Shroom is an upgrade from the Gloom Shroom that I definitely mentioned earlier. The Gloom Shroom is one of the best plants in the game because it attacks in all 8 directions. It attacks absurdly fast, does a ton of damage, is pretty low cost, and pierces through zombies. Gloom Shroom is also my favorite plant in the game, so I'm going to try myself and not using it every single level. Winning, you are the my money to get far by busting through some lots of fun easy conveyor belt levels based on the game's final world, the roof. Before that, it's time to head into the unlock puzzle mode. The first string of puzzles is a harder version of the Vase Breaker. But general theory for this is 10 hours of your time to Vase Breaker for a full 2 video, and then the ones in this game will feel complete. The second Vase Breaker level is called Cannabis. You get a bunch of right, this is the bag because you use the plant more to fire the zombie, but it also becomes more complete. You still need to fix the bases first, and then the last Vase Breaker level we have on is all 30. I genuinely lost for hours and not tell you why. The level does be adventurous, but none of them are related to baseball or movie. The first thing we have is which you're going to want to make sure you use Hypnosis. Also the big Jack in the Box zone. You reveal a base with them inside to open up all the surrounding bases as well as any nearby plants. For now, this is not a huge problem. We're able to finish out the last vase. With that finished up, it's back onto the roof. The roof levels introduce 2 new mechanics. Firstly, all plants must be placed inside these little pots as there's no soil on the roof. Secondly, the roof has a slant and normal pea shooters won't, forcing us to use a new plant type, catapults. For now, we're using the cabbage bolt, who's literally an ugly pea shooter. Beat the level and unlock the ability to place down a flower pot. Flower pot has always been one of my personal favorite plants because according to the Almanac entry, he's not a garden pot, he's a plant too, and you can tell by his cute little smile. None of this is relevant to the gameplay at all, but occasionally I just gotta slip in something for myself. On level 5 too, I take it upon myself to grab the grounded shoot. It requires you to beat a roof level with a catapult. I choose this level because funnily enough, in the speedrun world record of adventure mode, we don't actually use catapults. No, it's actually much faster to use starfruit on the root. I employ the same strategy myself, starting off with instant kills until I can afford starfruit. Then I just place them in the symmetry lane and watch as the plant that I once found to be completely useless just shreds through every zombie who sets foot on the roof. For that, we're given our 9th achievement, nearly halfway through. Actually, it's so much fun to starfruit in that next level that I actually use them to beat the college as well. So in that one, we're given the coffee bean, which will be hugely helpful. Now we blast through 5 floor with some catapults and then get to my least favorite mid-act break, bungee bonanza. This one's actually less of a bungee level and more of a chomper auto scroll. All of the zombies are placed down via bungee, but that doesn't really make a difference when all of your plants are in the back and they give you like 5 billion pumps. On to 5-6, where we can use our new coffee bean to wake up our gloom troops. Just absolutely shred through this level. I use this for the next 2 levels, switch back to the traditional catapults on 5-8 as it introduces the second toughest enemy in the game, the gargantuan. Fortunate for him, we've got Squash to crush the behemoth and move on to the last regular level of adventure. For this final level, I go with a build involving our newly acquired melon bolts. Melon bolts are massively powerful catapults that not only do a huge amount of damage, but also deal splash damage to nearby zombies, making them one of the strongest plants in the game. I realize now that I've been saying that about pretty much every plant we've been getting. But let me just be clear, spikeweed is awful. Their sheer power lets me overwhelm the gargantuar horde and progress onto the final level of PVZ adventure mode, the fight with Dr. Zomboss. Of course, it's a conveyor belt level because the zombies hate plants and fun. The key to this fight is to save all your ice shrooms and peppers until he lowers his big robotic head to the ground and spam ice shrooms that your catapults can fire at him. And once he unfreezes, quickly use a pepper before freezing him. Just make sure you save one of each for his giant balls of fire and ice that he can somehow produce. Okay, I have to say something here. Firstly, bravo to whoever made this roof. My last apartment leaked whenever it rained. This one can carry 5,000-pound ice spears on it. Secondly, how scarce is the brain economy that the zombies must go to this length just for my brain? Could they not just ransack the organ fridge at a hospital? With this technology, they could artificially grow their own brain. Logic aside, we managed to weaken the evil Dr. Zomboss, and eventually, easy. Go plants! You got 'em, plants! Complete adventure mode, easy dub. Okay, you win. No more eating brains for us. We just want to make a music video with you now. Sincerely, the zombies. Aw. There's a zombie on your lawn. I know every single lyric to this. I know your type. tall, dark, and dead. You wanna bite all the petals right off my head. And then eat the brains of the one who planted me here. No! Wait, oh, whoa, the baddie's got teeth? I never noticed that before. Yo, I just saw Crazy Days' legs. I'm gonna freak. Dude, do you guys think she was winking at me? But with Yo, I just saw Crazy Days' legs. I'm gonna freak. Dude, do you guys think she was winking at me? But with adventure mode completed, we are far from finished with this game, as tons of new modes have opened up to us now. First up, it's time to check out the new minigames. And the first new one we have is Raining Seeds. In this game, seeds fall down from the sky, and you have to plant. Yep, this is exactly the same as an autoscroller. I don't know why they have this one. For some reason, the level is 15 minutes long, but yet it's just an autoscroller. I'll take this opportunity to talk about single kelp. I don't know if it's just me, but for some reason as a kid, I always thought he was like a faceless plant, and the black on his front was like a really large open mouth, with the red being his tonsils, and he was just like constantly screaming. Is anyone else related to this? No? Large open. For some reason as a kid, I always thought he was like a faceless plant, and the black on his front was like a really large open mouth, with the red being his tonsil. And he was just like constantly screaming. Is anyone else relating to this? No? Just me? Okay, fair. The next minigame is one of my personal favorites, Bagul. In this minigame, you're given a lawn of existing plants, and you need to swap them around into pairs of 3. Depending on your generation, this is either like Bejeweled, Candy Crush, Royal Match, or Pokemon Trozei. The thing that always angers me about this minigame, or really any Match 3 game, is when the game like freaking blinks to show you a move for you to match. Like, why am I even playing the game if you're just gonna give me the answer? What is the point? I'm not a brainless moron. Just give me 5 seconds to find a match. The next minigame is called Invisible, and you'll never guess, but the zombies here are... Luckily, the plants can still see the zombies, so they know when to shoot. The most helpful thing here is freeze shoot, as it shows exactly where the zombies are, even if you don't have protection in that lane. You can also listen for the sounds of the peas hitting a zombie to determine what type it is. That way you know if you're dealing with a bucket head or not. This one's fairly easy, but the Zomboni does look really funny coming out invisible. Next up, we've got Seeing Stars. For this one, we just need to put a bunch of star fruit in the outline spaces to make a star. Seeing the star fruit are pretty good. This is no real issue. With that completed, it's on to Zombiquarium. This one's a little different from all the previous mini-games, as instead of taking place on the lawn, we're now in charge of a little fish tank filled with snorkel zombies. Zombies will produce sun orbs, but need to be fed every once in a while or they'll die. You can feed them brains by clicking on the screen at the cost of 5 sun. You can use 100 of the sun they give to purchase additional zombies for the tank. There's probably some optimal balance to give you the best speed to finish the game, but I just keep filling the tank because big number make me feel good. Eventually though, this results in a bit of a disaster. No, my zombies! Oh no! Oh my god! Oh god. Luckily, I already had enough sun for the trophy by this point, so I can leave behind my tank of unreanimated corpses and move on to Bagul Twist. This one I never understood. I always just clicked everywhere until it worked. But I'm a little bit older now. Maybe I actually know what I'm doing. There? No. Can I go like, no? Can I go like, no? So you gotta go... Yeah, this one's supposed to look like the Bagul, but you move everything in this weird circular pattern thing, and yeah, I just kind of randomly click around the board until I'm getting 75 max. The fact that there's no punishment for this means that that's the intended way to clear this level. The following minigame is a harder version of the Little Zombies level from 5. Not much to talk about here, as it's pretty much exactly the same as that level from 4. We're halfway through the minigames, and it's on to Portal Combat. And this one's actually pretty cool. There are these portals that go over some of the lanes, and bullets and zombies alike will walk through them. For some lanes, this gives you a ton of time to shoot, because zombies essentially have to go through 2 lanes. In some lanes, you barely even have a second because the portal teleports them right to the end. Throughout the level, the portal also shifts positions, so you need to make sure to flesh out every single lane. As long as you can save your walnuts for emergencies, you should be fine. After that, we've got Column Like You See. This minigame is like a normal conveyor belt level, only when you place down a plant, it places that plant across every single lane. Because of the overpowered nature of this effect, they don't give you many plants to place down and also send a ton of zombies at you. The strongest plant in this mode is obviously the chili pepper, as it's a complete screen clear. But I foolishly wasted in the very first wave, thinking I'll be sent more down the line. However, I am not, and this makes things pretty sticky by the time we get to the final wave. Holy crap, there's so many things on screen. Oh my god, look at those zombies are on screen. Holy crap, man. Oh crap, this is bad, 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 this is really bad. Oh no. Oh no. Biff that one. Definitely need to save my chili pepper. I used it at some stupid moment or so, as I recall. The next attempt, I get a lot luckier. We get a ton more insta-kills like squashes and pep. I save them for the middle and final waves, which lets me easily get through this time. The next minigame is one that some consider to be the hardest one in Plants vs. Zombies 1, Bobsled Bonanza. For this game, you have to actually pick your plants, and you better pick wisely, as this level starts out with ice on every single lane, and Zombonis constantly being sent down. Meaning that waves upon waves of bobsleds are just sliding down into your direction. I started this level level using mostly doom shrooms to clear out any zombies. Since this level is all zombonis, the pool levels are completely safe for us to pre-plant some doom shrooms and then just wake it up with a coffee bean when we need it. This is a strategy you'll start to see me using in a lot of levels, because not only is doom shroom so powerful, but also being able to pre-plant them in the day makes their cooldown almost non-existent. The first wave is actually pretty tough, just having to constantly balance insta-kills, but by the time we've gotten to the second, I have 3 feeders and 4 cords set up on every lane, carrying through the bobsleds, meaning I only need to worry about the zomboni. The final wave is tough, but luckily my doom shroom is recharged, so I can place it here and clear out the level. Then we've got zombie nimble, zombie quick. Oh my god, everything is going in fast. Oh my god, this is like Zoomer PVZ. And that speed applies to everything in the level. The zombies, the recharge times, the wave speed. I go with gloom shrooms for this one, and once I have 2 on every lane, the only thing I need to make sure I do is monitor the health of the garlic. Garlic is a plant you can place at the end of the lane to push zombies into neighboring ones, making an absolutely perfect combo with gloom shrooms. Make sure you have 2 lanes of them to prevent against cold frames. Overall, this one was fun, but definitely easy. And speaking of easy, we've got another whack of zombie doing next. Like zombie die. So make sure to bust all the graves, so there's only a few that they can spawn from, making the final waves much easier. I think if I hadn't done that, I would have really struggled here because they're sending out lots of zombies from each grave. Before we head into the next minigame, I want to stop by Crazy Dave's shop and buy the Winter Melon, an upgrade to the melon plant that gives him crazy properties. This makes him probably the best plant in the entire game, for real this time. The reason I wanted to grab him is because our next minigame is Last Stand. Here, all sunflowers are banned, and you're given just 5,000 sun to plant a defense that needs to last through 5 waves of zombies. I placed down a ton of our newly acquired winter melon, as well as melon pulse to supplement. With all my remaining sun, I placed potato mines on every square, ensuring that any zombie that makes it past their defense does not get it. But we hardly need the spuds here, as we see the raw power of the winter melon just ripping through zombies before they can even step foot on the wall. At the end of every wave, you're given a very small amount of sun, which I can use to refresh the spuds. The only thing to watch out for is the football zombies, as they will run ahead of the group. Because the winter melon is now targeting the zombie in front, the zombie horde behind him is no longer taking that splash. Luckily, not one of them is able to get past the spud line wall, giving us the level. Before we go on to the next minigame, we're gonna go back to Last Stand. Like I said earlier, we're gonna need tons of money to complete this run, like 300,000 more dollars. This, combined with the fact that everything's gonna get harder from here, means that I want to get $50,000 here to buy the rest of the available plants at Crazy Dave's shop. Last Stand is a great place to grind money, because you can set up your defenses as opposed to having to build it as the level goes on. For all 5 waves, we only really need 3 gloom shrooms, as they can take on every zombie that's sent at us. This means on the other spots on the lawn, we can just place down 2 new plants. Firstly, the marigold. The marigold is basically like a sunflower for money, producing a coin every couple seconds. We can combine this with an upgrade I bought from the magnet shroom and total the magnet, which attracts all coins on screen. Shout out to local host on YouTube for the 14-year-old report. Despite the fact that it was recorded in 144p and uses black text on a red background, it was a dang good job. Each time I do this, garners me around 5,000 gold. So after a full hour of grinding, I've garnered the 50,000 I need and buy out the rest of the plants in Crazy Dave's shop, which is perfect timing as the next minigame is Zombie 2. And this one's a huge step up in difficulty from the original. Now they've got repeater zombies, squash zombies, and even hot pepper zombies. But I've just purchased the perfect defense with cattails. See, as we learned last time, the best way to win is to build in as few ways as possible. Protecting all 6 lanes with these sugar zombies is really tough. Luckily, cattail can be placed on top of the lily pad, and your shots are only. With just 2 cattails and some instant kills, we can cover pretty much the entire map. Zombies you need to watch out for the most are the gatling guns. They fire 4 shots at once, so if they're not dealt with, they can quickly tear through your entire. Luckily, cattails are just so strong that you can crush the level and move on. Now it's on to the final Walnut Bowling 2. This is my final chance to get the Hit Fight Zombies achievement. During the non-waves, I make sure to use my insta-kill nuts to clear the zombies. That way, when the waves actually come, I've saved up all my regular walnuts to maximize my bounce potential. The disco zombies also help, as they're positioned in a way where you can bounce off one of his backup dancers. 4 bounce after 4 bounce goes by, and I'm still unable to get that potato achievement until... For 5! For the truth! 1, 2, 3! I wasn't counting. Oh my god! That checked off, I can plow through the rest of the level, but the final wave is pretty gigantic, so I'm forced to use some long rope. Next up, we've got Pogo Party, a level that features almost entirely Pogo Zombies. I go with old reliable Gloomstrom here, as their ability to fire in all 8 directions means that they can still fire at the Pogo Zombies even once they've been jumped over. I also use Tall Nuts as support since they can't be jumped over. Now is on to Plants vs. Zombies' final minigame, Dr. Zomboss's Revenge. And this is just basically a tougher version of the original boss.